is everyone ready?
Yeah.
I is ready.
Don't quote Ali G.
We spoke about this before. Coming at you live from the War Wizard's tomb, it's me, Nick Lambslice.
Me, James Pumpkin.
And me, Harrison Hunt, aka Mara Butterworth.
And we are
The Tabletop Twats.
Wada.
This is an RPG show all about RPGs, tabletop styly.
Yep.
And we've got a big old show coming up for you today, but the whole team's back together once again. They tried to shoot him, they blew his house up, they shot his legs off, but they couldn't keep him down.
You told them no.
Exactly, he's back once again, James Clark.
Back once again for the Renegade Master.
Oh my god, that's a blast from the past, isn't
D4 damager. Which actually is a low amount of damage.
That's piss take.
Yeah, Rage Against the Machine.
Get away from me, you little D4 damager.
Yeah, sort it out, mate. So we got the feedback side, we got what you've been slaying, we got the main subject, which this time is going to be DCC RPG coming at you 1, 2, 3, yeah. And we got the Chamber of Challenges, we got the game design guys, and we got Electro Letters. Oh my god, it's going to be a good show, isn't it? Isn't it, guys?
It's going to be incredible.
It's going to be alright.
It's going to be alright.
I mean, what I meant to say was, yes.
Yeah,
it's going to be better than alright. Oh yeah, we don't need your soundboard this week. Thanks very much, mate.
So let's get into the feedback.
Let's get all up in it.
The feedback side. The feedback side. The feedback side. The feedback side. The feedback section. So feedback from previous episode. First one comes in from Owen Lean. He says, cautionary tale. Beware of listening to Tabletop Twats while driving. While driving around for work yesterday, I decided to catch up on some old episodes. Dear God, Nick Lamley, that phone call pizza guy dungeon crawl nearly killed me. For real. I actually had to pull over and stop the car because I was laughing so hard I'd become a liability.
Oh wow.
The same thing happened a week ago while listening to Harrison Hunt tearing apart Fatal. You are both geniuses, good sirs.
Well, thank you very much.
You got missed out there, James. You were actually on the Fatal episode as well. So.
Well, yeah, no. When we saw him last week, and then we were speaking about it, it's like, oh yeah, that was you.
Oh, that snub was fatal.
Yeah, so bit out of order there. Cheers, Owen.
Maybe we should start the show with disclaimer now, saying do not listen while driving, as we can't be held responsible for what may happen.
We should also start the show with, by the way, James is in this.
Yeah, in case it's probably because I wasn't in it last episode.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, I was.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in it the whole time.
Yeah.
No.
It's just that his we had some technical difficulties and his mic wasn't recording from episode 1, so
so he's just been sitting there going and I was heard him the whole time.
Yeah. He also followed up by saying, in response to Richard Woolcock's comment about stereotypes in RPGs last episode, I'm in complete agreement. Who the hell said dwarves have to be beardy Celtic folk, whereas elves have to be effeminate Aryans? I genuinely want to play in a world where dwarves are Rastas and elves are Aussie Bogans. That would be awesome.
I believe that. Sorry.
But I mean, in my games, I tend to have like a good mix, don't I, of like weird fucking people.
Yeah.
You got to twist the norms, man. Who says that things have to be whatever? At the end of the day, this game's all about imagination, so you do whatever the hell you like.
We have done the stereotypical playing of characters, of course.
For a laugh.
That's just like, for some people it's easy to do that. But I mean, like, when we were actually playing Richard's games, I was a Rasta. I was a Rasta goblin.
I was a gangster goblin.
You were a gangster. We completely weren't stereotypical in that sense.
Yeah, but then dwarves and elves, everyone is always like, I am a dwarf and I'm digging a hole.
Dig a hole.
But then you kind of have to. So sometimes it would be nice just to have a dwarf that's was like, yeah man.
Well, my dwarf was like Scandinavian. He had more of a kind of European accent. Rather than like a.
But having an elf that's like all beaten up, battered, and is like, you fucking what, mate?
or hello.
That'd be funny. We'll have a posh, like a
really posh. I'm an elf.
Posh goblin.
Don't look at my ears. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Sean played a posh goblin once. And actually, I did in another game as well, where because
in Saga of the Goblin Horde, I had the funny voice hindrance, but because a lot of goblins already have funny voices.
That was witchcraft, wasn't it?
Yeah, the way I played it, I did it so that he spoke a bit like Hugh Grant.
That's right. Yeah, he got cursed, didn't he? And he was like, "Do you have to excuse my voice?"
Yeah, and all the goblins like sort of poked fun at him, and he was like, "Oh, well, I suppose we should go." And everyone's like, "Ah, you fucking idiot, mate."
And then Owen follows up with, regarding the RPGs versus depression episode, this was a work of art. Yeah, couldn't agree more.
Thanks, mate.
Very good episode. Showed real heart and feelings.
Thank you very much. Yeah, and cheers for everyone that sent in stuff about that. That meant a lot.
It's very, very good.
Terry Hansen also followed up saying, I was wondering how you read them all and sounded so calm. I was doing my damnedest not to get choked up. I didn't do so well.
Oh, bless him.
Yeah,
maybe he was being...
touching.
Does he mean he was actually being choked up by... Was he being physically choked?
Couldn't breathe.
Probably.
He was listening. He was like...
No, I mean, was he being choked?
Or maybe his
Somebody
wife was just
choking him.
applying pressure while he was listening.
Maybe that's
to
what
it.
he's into.
Yeah.
You know.
And he probably didn't do so well because
You gotta listen to your podcast while being choked,
he forgot the safe word and...
Yeah, exactly.
And he's no longer with us, but...
Poor Terry. God rest his choked soul.
We love you, Terry.
And that's all the feedback. So cheers, everyone.
Yeah, amazing.
Right, so let's get on with what we've been playing in...
What you been slaying?
Oi! Yeah? What you slaying?
So, first off, we played Bartington Halls, which was a one-shot run by Owen Lean.
Yes, Owen.
Yes.
Savage Worlds.
And this was awesome. So basically, it was an investigatory type campaign set in a boarding school.
A toffee boarding school, yeah.
Toffee, yes. Yeah. And James, it was your...
Yeah, it was my girlfriend Georgie. It was her first time ever doing tabletop RPGing. So cheers, Owen, for popping her cherry.
Yeah, not her first time role playing though.
Nah, well, of course not.
But
So we'll cut that bit.
So basically, the whole storyline was that we had to we had a very short amount of time to get an entertainment together for this evening thing that was happening, right? Yeah. And there were three bands. There was one called Bedsheet, one called Viagra Manifesto, and then another one that was an ABBA tribute act. And we had to book two of them. And then we found out that the lead singer of Bedsheet had gone missing.
Yep.
And my character Mara was a fucking weirdo who was obsessed with the lead singer.
Weirdo stalker.
Yeah, a massive stalker. And then we basically found out he'd gone missing. Went to the woods and found out that there was this weird freaky fucking pig thing.
Oh, mate.
Weird ritual that
had
we
no
thought
blood.
was happening,
It was
but
gross.
this pig that had killed a couple people.
Yeah, it killed the lead singer of one of the bands and the lead singer of another band, isn't it?
Exactly. And then meanwhile, like basically, we investigated, found that the lead singer had gone missing. At this time, my character and Georgie's character were just rocking out because she took the place of the singer and was singing, and I was just like, she's so cool.
So you didn't even leave. You stayed at the bloody gig, and we had to go out and do all the legwork.
You guys found out that there was this weird sort of like cult that was all the upper echelons of all the school.
Yeah, it was the head boy that was gonna sort of do this
hidden society,
do this speech and bring all hell upon everyone.
Exactly. So you guys found this cult, found their secret house thingy out in the woods. Were fighting them all. Meanwhile, me and Georgie were just rocking out, and you guys were fighting them, doing all this. Suddenly, Georgie finishes singing. We come and meet you back in the woods. Find out the head boy's about to do his speech and try and get everyone on his side. So we run back, and at this point, he's just starting his speech, and Georgie jumps on the stage. She's like, "Oh my god!"
With Nick parting the crowd of his rapier.
yeah, mad skills.
And then she just goes, "Fuck." We got to stop him.
Yeah.
And she just goes, "Oh my god, he's so dreamy." Jumps on him, tries to kiss him. Stage gets like fucking smashed and obliterated.
Fall into like the basement. Yeah.
And like we're about to, and then we have to fight this guy who's like the leader of a cult underneath the stage. And at the beginning of the game, Owen said to us, "We can take any gear we want within reason, right?" So like, what did you guys take?
I had
because we're all school kids.
I had a torch.
Yeah, you had a knuckle duster. You know, that's
I was a ruffian, so I just had.
I had a torch I really liked.
Yeah, a torch.
That's about it, I think. Yeah.
See, I had a medieval dagger because that was from the Savage Worlds rule book, right? But at the beginning, Owen was like, "How can you take a medieval dagger? You're a school child." And I was like, "Yeah, well, I'm a weirdo, and I took it from the history department." So the first move that I have, I rolled like I aced it like 15 times.
About 36 damage, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I just stabbed this guy and killed him, and then we're just like, oh no, I'm a school kid, I've committed murder, and then I'm just like, well, he killed himself. You all saw it, right?
Yeah, and then we all said that he definitely killed himself and made the scene look like it. So when they turned up, they were just like,
open and shut case, wasn't it?
Definitely
Detective was
killed
like,
himself.
Yeah, suicide, fine.
So the police were just like, well, yes, I suppose, yeah, he killed himself, and the school basically helped us cover it up.
Yeah. Mm. Yeah, they didn't want no bad publicity. So
like,
it was
oh
all,
no, this has happened again.
Yeah, it was all covered up.
Yeah, so apparently this has happened before.
Yeah, he said, this has happened many times before, and then they made it so we were the sort of like the people to kind of look after and stop this stuff happening again. So
yeah, we got charged with looking after the school, which is pretty cool. So I opened it up for a sequel.
Yeah, so we were hoping to maybe do this as an actual play in future with Owen and do a sequel to this Bartington Halls thing. Obviously, you guys didn't hear the first one, but it should just start and be something that you guys can listen to.
We could do a little recap anyway.
But as a sort of one shot, what did you guys think of it?
Yeah, it was good.
It was awesome. It was really good.
I really like Owen's GMing style. It's cool.
I quite liked it, and it was really funny because Sean and all of his wit, he had mountains of bennies.
Oh man, yeah.
He got a
there was
Benny
a lot
for
of bennies being dished out.
He got the first Benny that was dished out was because Sean made him almost spit out his drink with laughter.
I can't remember what it was he said.
Oh,
but
Mungo, wasn't it?
Sean played a fat kid called Mungo, and he the way he played it is that Sean's obviously not a fat guy in real life, but he was really good at doing the fat voice. Yeah. And so when he was like tumbling over his words, you go. It was so good. There were so many great moments in there, but there was one point where one of the teachers, sort of part of the reason he got involved with the cult was because they enacted the school enacted a policy where teachers were no longer allowed to have plants in their rooms. And when you guys got beneath and got to the cult, and they said, you guys were like, why are you doing this? He went, they stole my geranium.
Yeah. He was like upset about his geranium. Yeah,
it was so good.
Very very good.
But yeah, very good campaign. I can't wait to play more. And next up, we finished Bubblegum Crisis.
We did. It's sad, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Overall, I thought the ending was very good. So for those people that have listened, we basically
Boomer Moon.
Yeah,
big old moon.
I'll try and keep this brief. I'm not going to explain the rest of the story, but the party were investigating the Boomer Moon, and they got to the time looped again, and they finally killed the fucking Boomer Moon, having got the mech suits.
Yeah,
they destroyed the fucking moon.
Yeah.
But it was sort of a half victory, wasn't it?
We destroyed a bit of the city as well.
Almost like 2/3 of the city was destroyed. But we did kill the moon. But unfortunately, we also killed the person responsible for the time loop.
And pretty much
therefore meaning, therefore meaning that the time loop didn't happen again. Yeah. The city was still fucked. But we did win, right?
We win.
Yeah,
did win.
The city rebuilt.
Basically, what happened was they never really discovered the source for the time loops. They never did, because what happened was that when they got their mech suits back, the reason that they managed to get their mech suits is because they realised on the first time loop that somebody had stolen them. So when time looped back to day one again, they killed the people responsible for stealing their mech suits and got them themselves, and then that was all good. But what they didn't realise is that those people also stole some experimental technology from elsewhere that was a time machine, but didn't know quite how to use it. Not a time machine, but kind of like, well, it was kind of a time machine. Mm-hmm. And the guy, every time the city got fucked, he used this little button that he'd found, and he just pressed it, which was an in case of emergency button.
Yep.
And he would press it and time would go back 3 days. Mm-hmm. The thing is, what happened was on day 2 of the second cycle, one of the characters, Harvey, just went up to this guy and blasted him, destroying the machine. Yep. He didn't even know this guy had the machine. He just destroyed him, destroying all chances of time ever looping again.
And the Abusi bar.
So the trouble is that when the city got half destroyed on the second loop, there was no chance of it.
That was for keeps, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was for keeps. So it was kind of a half victory because you did manage to take down the big boss that was destroying the city, but it didn't really.
Yeah, it wasn't a really happy ending. It was a happy ending for us as we were winners, but it wasn't a happy ending for the city because it was fucked.
The men were alright though.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what happened was that this thing had half destroyed the city. Basically was so big that they never ever managed to shift it, and the city then built over the top of it again. But when it was basically just planted in the city and had crashed and died, you were all stood atop it, and all of these people started coming onto their balconies, all the survivors and stuff, and were like, "What do we call you guys?" And you guys hadn't actually used the name of your group in so long that everyone just went, And then Harvey was like, "No, go away." And then I said, "All right, roll intelligence." And then finally, Riz went, "The Vengeance Machine," which is something that hadn't been said in so long.
Yeah,
it was just. Yeah, I don't think it's ever even been said on this podcast. It was a name that
Vengeance Machine, yeah.
It was. I think it was said in episode 1 you picked that name for your group.
Yeah, it was in my notes.
I thought it was... didn't someone shout the Night Sabers as
Somebody
well?
shouted the Night Sabers, which was the original name, but you changed it after the enemy learned the name. Vengeance Machine.
But
when we went underground.
But I think because they couldn't think in time, it was... that they shouted the Night Sabers, the crowd started shouting the Night Sabers, and then it was like roll intelligence. It was like, oh yeah, our name was Vengeance Machine.
Actually, no, not really. It's Vengeance
So yeah, you became known as the Night Sabers.
Lightsabers?
You were like the saviours of the city, and it was a nice ending. It was a nice ending, but it was half not nice. And the very people that you were trying to save, not the very people, because you were trying to save the city, but there was one guy that was implicated in all of this, who was semi-responsible for having done this, but it kind of wasn't his fault. This guy that had installed the virus that created the monster, he didn't really do it. He kind of did it by accident, and you kind of wanted to clear his name.
Yeah.
But as the monster was kind of trundling through the city, destroying buildings, he took one look out of his window, and it was heading towards him. And I gave you guys plenty of warning. I was like, it's going towards the building. It's going towards the building. It's going towards the building. And I was like, hoping you guys would go, I'm going to do this. But nobody did. And I just went, it smashes the building with its gigantic hand. And it was just like, well, he's dead.
He's gone as well. Yep.
But yeah, then you guys, like, with barrages of missiles, got inside its mouth, destroyed the core, all of this kind of stuff.
Yeah, boy. From the inside out.
Yeah.
So yeah, well done.
Yep.
The one criticism I would say about Bubblegum Crisis is you roll the same shit all the time.
Yeah.
I think that much like the anime that spawned this game, it works as a short adventure campaign, not as a long one.
Got ya.
I'm very glad it was 7 episodes. I wouldn't want to play more than that. Because it's always rolling the same stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't find the system to be exciting at all. It's functional. It works. It's very, very well made. It's clearly been focus tested very well, but I don't think that it lacks the fun factor.
I know, and you're always adding up as well. Which for some people is a bit annoying.
It started off like well because like, oh, new system, this is nice. But then when we we all sort of got to grips with it, it was just like, we don't want to be doing this for ages.
Yeah, because I just think that the system itself doesn't have the lack of bells or whistles. It really lacks just anything particularly exciting. I think that you have to have a very charismatic DM, and I'm not saying that I am one. I'm saying that like sometimes there are sessions where you're not going to be doing anything particularly exciting, and you're just doing normal stuff, and that's where I'm so glad that we have such a good group, because if we didn't, that could have been so fucking tawdry.
Imagine if you had, like all the nerds who either go just by the rule book, so they're playing each character as the stereotype,
rules lawyer,
or if you have the characters who are trying to break the game, it would have been cack, mate, all of it.
Yeah, and I think it's a pretty weak system, to be honest, for that reason. I think that we made it something.
Yeah,
and that's why I think I'm glad it ended after 7 episodes, because we had to make it something a bit better than what it was, because it is quite basic, I would say.
It did some of the best role-playing moments of my gaming career, though.
Because no, I agree, and it was a fucking great game and a story at the end of it. But then you look at something like Made, which is even more basic, but it has things that make it exciting.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
The random object generator.
Exactly,
Like
and then
that,
you've got something similarly. GURPS is another one that's like it's a very functional system that doesn't appear to have any bells or whistles, but it's got these little things in it that make it exciting.
Yeah.
You know, where there were moments where you'd be low on fatigue, where you're just like, fuck, I'm just about to pass out, and things like this.
Yep.
It's like you just feel as if like most of the time it lacks that real tension other than your health, which is fine, but I felt like it was a little bit too harsh in some regards, and then a little bit too easy in others, that it just felt like it's fine. It was decent, but like I said, I wouldn't have gone beyond the amount of episodes that
I'm glad we played it, but yeah, I know what you mean, yeah.
Exactly. The last thing I wanted to talk about is I got the Daring Tales Adventure Deck.
Yes.
So I'm going to grab that off the old shelf. Have a look at this, lads. This is a present my good friend Gary McCallum sent me. So this is for my birthday.
Nice. It's even got a nice plastic sleeve. I'm going to...
Yeah, it came in a box as well. So this is for Savage Worlds.
So I like the art.
So, yeah, the art's amazing. It's some of my favourite.
Cool art.
Oh, that's cool.
Bad karma.
Yeah, so this is
it smells fresh.
For Savage Worlds, and basically these are cards that you hand out at the beginning of the game that you can play at any point during the game, and they do kind of bizarre things. So Nick, give me an example.
Well, I'm just looking at one, right, and it's called Two-Fisted, yeah? But if I was to cover up part of this picture and then say Two-Fisted to you...
Oh no. Yeah, it looks pretty bad. So it looks like a bloke being fisted.
Two-fisted.
How's about a little chin music? Playing this card allows your hero to use a wild die or spend bennies on damage rolls for unarmed combat. This effect only lasts this round.
Yeah, so it does things like that. There's things such as
fury.
You can stop people from spending a penny, or you can add dice to certain rolls, or things like this.
Oh, there's some really cool stuff. Like, look, I just come across one. I just saw the tagline. That each of them have a quotation just underneath what it is, and this is from the famous film Casablanca. He's looking at you, kid. And it's called Love Interest. So you play as an NPC to encourage a romantic interest for your character. The target helps to the best of their abilities, but may frequently cause trouble as well.
Yeah, I love it. The art, literally, all the art looks like like the old movie posters when they were like hand painted and stuff.
Yeah, it's so well done. So well done.
Something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's so cool.
Pretty cool product. Absolutely thrilled with it. Pun intended.
It's like whipping a monster, and it says "Seize the day."
Thrilling Tales Adventure Deck. Check it out.
Yeah, mate. These are amazing.
Main. Subject. Main. Subject. Sorry.
Remember the good old days, when adventures were underground, NPCs were there to be killed, and the finale of every dungeon was the dragon on the 20th level. Those days are back, baby. Dungeon Crawl Classics don't waste your time with long-winded speeches, weird campaign settings, or NPCs who aren't meant to be killed. Each adventure is 100% good, solid dungeon crawl, with the monsters you know, the traps you fear, and the secret doors you know are there somewhere.
Poetry, mate.
So we're talking about Dungeon Crawl Classics, yo.
Them good men. Them good men.
DCC.
So Dungeon Crawl Classics. I've been going on about it a lot on this podcast, but we've never really delved deep into that dungeon and actually talked about it properly, you know. And I felt like we should actually get into it today because I absolutely am quite enamoured with this game. You know, it's really taken me. It's really taken me. You know,
Taking him. You're taking him and he can't get out.
Calm down.
But yeah, you know how we've got a lot of mates, right? Let's call it what it is. We got a lot of mates who are a bit too into Savage Worlds.
Yeah.
and they're just like
Some savage mates.
A bit too.
and they just think, oh, it's the best system, that nothing can beat it. It can do everything. Do you know what
Guess
I mean?
again.
Admittedly,
buddy.
it is good. Yeah.
No,
alright.
it is well good, and
Yeah.
it can do everything. But can it do everything the best?
No. Nah, mate.
Exactly, and for the feedback section, come at me, bro.
Yeah.
But basically, I will say this: I think that I've been playing a lot of this, and I'm at the moment. I think for dungeon crawling, old school revival games, this is the best one that I've researched and looked into, and so I bought it. Right.
Nice.
So DCC is a game that mixes 3.5 D&D with first edition D&D to create something with an old school feel of first edition D&D, but with rules that flow much better.
And work, yeah.
Yeah, and work. So a lot of the old school boring stuff is stripped out to make something with a game that is like really fun, really flows, and no more bullshit. So that's basically the basic premise of it, right? So let's get into it. We'll get into the system and how it works a little bit later. But first off, the characters. What sort of characters do you play? You got warrior, you got thief, you got cleric, you got wizard. But then also, race and class are one and the same. So you got hobbit, you got elf, and you got dwarf. Those are also classes. Exactly the same as back in really old school days.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you can be a hobbit as well. But it's
hobbit.
actually called halfling in the book, but I refuse to call it that.
Fair play.
Because, I don't discriminate.
No.
They're not half a person.
No.
No way.
The whole Hobbit.
So for all the hobbits
They're a
listening,
hob of it.
We love you.
you're a holeling.
Well, I'm part Hobbit, and so, yeah.
Yeah, so he finds that offensive.
Yeah, so...
So that's why. But one of the coolest things about this, and there may be other games that do this, but you can start as a level 0 character, a commoner, right? And there are two ways the game recommends basically being getting to a level 1 character. Now, it basically says, and a lot of games say this as well, if you're level 1, you've achieved something. To be a warrior or a cleric or whatever, that is an achievement. You've done stuff to get there, right? So you can either do it one of two ways. You can just create a level 1 character and start adventuring. Fine, same as any other game.
Yeah.
Or you can do the character funnel.
We.
Funnels,
Here he
mate.
is.
It's wicked.
Here he is. Chug it, chug it, chug it.
So what is the character funnel? This basically works thus. And this is thus. And thus it has always been thus. You basically create a level 0 character who is a commoner. Now these are shitty. They're classless, and all you do is roll for a random job, a bunch of random stats, maybe even a random name, random starting gear.
Yes, mate.
And you do that, and you roll about 4 to 5 characters
Per player.
per player, and then you go through a starting dungeon, and only those that get through the starting dungeon will be able to become level 1 and pick a class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, we did this the other day. What did you think?
Brilliant.
Mate, it was intense. I really enjoyed, like, as soon as we started, it was just like, right, go. Obviously we had the little background and intro into what we were doing, but then it was like, oh Christ, now I've got so many characters. It's just like, and then slowly we firstly did it as groups, so it was easier to sort of like navigate and role play through the first parts of the dungeon. But as we slowly got to gel with our characters, we were then able to put through their personalities into and shine it through into the game, and that was really fun to just sort of. Just some you gel with, some you don't really like that well, but I think.
But the turnover was quick.
It was
Yeah, because we started.
Fast.
We basically said that all of these characters were the main populace of a village. It's not all of them, but these were all the ones that were willing to go into the dungeon.
From Shitterton.
And so, from a town called Shitterton, this is what I said these guys could name the village. Bad move. But so, it was 18 characters between 6 of you.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, man.
you had all these characters, and they all just charged headlong into this dungeon.
it was
The
brilliant.
first death happened within the first move that happened in the dungeon.
Yeah.
Literally, James's character, the only hobbit in the village, went up and went, I'm going to try and open the door, and then
Yeah,
boom.
because he was he was chaotic. So, and he's like, basically, I played him as a Jippo because that was his job. His occupation was he was a gypsy traveller.
Yeah, and so he tried to nick the jewels that were on the first door.
There's a door here. It's got all these jewels. He's like, hey, fuck it, I'm going to go over there, and he takes the jewels.
Boom.
Like that, and then he just dead.
Yeah.
Yep. We had
So-
a gravedigger, we had a taxman, we had a candlestick maker, we had a corn farmer,
Cheesemaker, orphan.
Tax collector.
Yeah.
And so because all the jobs were rolled randomly, and fortunately all of them were different because there's 100 different jobs. Now the funny thing about it is that all the commoners, all the level zeros, they roll for HP, and all it is stamina modifier plus a D4.
Yeah.
So you can get 1 HP.
I had a few people with 1 HP.
Yeah.
It was like, he takes 2 damage. What's your HP? Oh, 1. Okay.
Yeah, and in some cases, a lot of the traps in the dungeon did 1d8 of damage, and I was just like, yeah, munch.
See ya.
So it was pretty funny.
It was fun.
The
Grinded.
yeah, we started with 18. We were left with 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that was our end goal. We needed 6. We ended up with 6.
No one walked out of that dungeon with nil characters. So that
No,
was good.
actually, no, that's a lie. That's a lie because Peter did.
Oh, yeah.
Pete was the only player that had to borrow a character of someone else.
Bust me a character, bruv.
Yeah, because he basically went into the one room that was it was literally kind of a meat grinder, because he basically went in there. There was 7. The annoying thing is that it was basically 7 of these sort of shambling bone things.
Oh,
they were
nasty.
They were actually really shit enemies, but he just dealt with them really badly, because you're supposed to kind of go in. Realise that it's a shit enemy, but there's nothing in there for you. So he sort of went in, tried to fight them, and I was just like, "There's 7 of them. There's 4 of you," and you're supposed to sort of look at that and go, "Nope," and then just get out. You're like, "They're slow."
I could take them.
Exactly. He basically when you do the character funnel, you go by player initiative, not people, because there's too many people.
Yeah.
So he rolled after the bone things. They all got 7 hits on him. All his characters got munched. That was it. Four characters down instantly. Yeah, that was it. And then Sean's character, Loisha, the cheese maker, she literally she had low intelligence.
What's going on here, then?
Yeah, she runs in, gets munched as well. And I just said, all of you just hear from the other room.
Yeah, just it.
Oh no!
So
Yeah.
in a nutshell, that's basically the character funnel.
It was chaos, and it was so much fun.
Yeah, and so you ended up with 6 characters,
Yep.
and now before the next session, they all get to be level 1.
Yeah,
they get to pick a
profession.
They get to pick a class, and
Yep.
what I like about that is, first off, you've all got a connection with your characters now.
Yeah, we do now. Yeah,
You've been through some
I'll tell you
shit
what.
together, man. You've seen stuff.
No, I really enjoy that because, like I said earlier, the fact that it's all of it's randomly rolled, which sometimes people are really not going to like. But having a big selection of characters and then having to think, all right, and luckily it's quite, the sheets are quite basic, so it's really easy to understand. It's just all you really need to look out is just what their job title is, really, and then it's just like, all right, cool, what
Give
am I
them a
going to do?
voice.
And then it's like, give them a voice, and then slowly, like I said, we all built our personalities. So, as they were dying, we were getting well cut up about some of them dying. We're like, oh no, but I really liked him. Oh, I really liked
I like
her.
where he was going.
Yeah.
Forget about it.
Yeah, because a lot of people sort of gravitated towards one person, didn't they? Because
Yeah.
James he liked his hunter. Sean liked, I forget,
Cheesemaker.
Cheesemaker.
Gravedigger, I liked.
Yeah, Nick, you liked the gravedigger. You wanted him because he was
Him or the corn farmer, but I'm pleased with that. I walked away with the corn farmer.
Yeah. And then like now you have this connection. Not only that, but I quite like the level 0 character sheet is a lot more simple than the level 1 one.
Like it's got a chicken on it.
Yeah, and so it gets you used to that character sheet.
Yep.
Then when you level up and you get the notes bit then becomes the bit that's for your class.
Right. I
So-
see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's-
that's smart. I didn't know that.
With regards to the types of adventure that you play in this game as well, I've heard it compared by more than one person to Zelda.
All right.
I would say that's accurate, but there's 2 types of adventure. I would say realistically, there's many types of adventure, but I would say they come in 2 types of flavour. Now, I would say the DCC's been going for a little while now, but they've got they've got full old school, and I would say there's like the old school updated version, because they've got there's like the ones that I've got here, right? So the two that I actually own is Intrigue at the Court of Chaos and Moonslaves of the Cannibal Kingdom, right? Now these are updated to embrace the silliness of old school, whereas they've got the other ones on their website where they've got where they're old school, but they don't know they're silly, sort of thing.
Right. It's serious,
Yeah, so it's and those are the two types of flavour that they have. Whereas these ones sort of like, you know how Zelda is a bit quirky, bit weird, and I would say that's we played the adventure we played the other night, the level 0 one. That's the introductory adventure just straight from the book.
Nice.
And yeah, they full on go for the silliness. Yeah. Like the fact that you have it's old school and they know it's silly and they just go for it anyway. See, you have that snake boss called Sisarag, and it's actually spelt that way in the book with loads of S's.
Sisarag, yeah.
And then you have like this fucking war wizard that's fucked up, and so he's just sitting on a fucking deck chair in the last room.
That was funny. Yeah, we got in there and he was just like, oh well, it didn't happen then.
Yeah, he's all sizzled and like fried and that.
All gone wrong for him. Yeah.
The only reason that you managed to get into his dungeon and get to the final chamber is because he fucked his own plans up somehow, and you never find out how.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, and so it's like loads of things like that. Look like I think make it. It does feel a little bit like Zelda because it's a bunch of puzzles and stuff and going through dungeons. Yeah, I get that, but the only thing is that we haven't done much adventuring outside of dungeons yet. Yeah, which I think gives it that feel. Which we are going to be doing sort of in the next game. So
wicked.
Yeah, I think I do agree with that to an extent. And I don't know, like that's sort of like the types of adventure you will be playing. But I hear there are many different types of adventure. You've got absolutely shitloads. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's very, very varied. But I've seen fucking covers where they've got like a zombie woman with a chainsaw. There's one with a big robot on it. So,
all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, it's fucking cool, man. And the book, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it comes with adventures that take you up to level 8 as well, which is
in the book.
Yeah,
I forgot the size of that book, mate.
Yeah, mate. It's
stupid.
It's a behemoth.
It's like one of those like encyclopedias.
It's ridiculous, mate, and it's got everything in here that you need. But we'll get into that a bit later. But yeah, I think if I'm not mistaken, it takes you up to level 8. I can't find it, but it's pretty cool, man. With regards to the system, what did you guys think of it then?
I love it.
I think it's great. I think it's really elegant, real easy to grasp, and it's just like, all right. So, and there's like, it's so at least in the level 0 character sheet, as is all I'm used to right now. It's there's really sparse in the skill section, but that makes it easier, and I enjoy the way it is. It's like, you know, if the whatever it is you're trying to do coincides with your profession, with your job, then you can roll a d20 do the modifier. If it doesn't, therefore meaning you're not trained in it, D10. You roll a d10 and add your modifier. And that's just like, that makes it so easy. Yeah. So easy. It's just like, all right, so I have this skill because of my job, so I can roll a d20. Right? I don't, so I can only do a d10. And it's really, really good the way that happens. I like it.
I think it's extremely clever. It just means that there's less faffing about.
It makes sense as well. If you're good at something, you've got more chance of succeeding in it, and if you're not,
then thing it, you know. Yeah. And then I like it. I like it a lot.
And I like the simplicity of the character sheet, the way it's laid out, because you've got the agility and the bonus, the fact that it's linked to your missile weapon, the fact that that's on the same line as your missile weapon, and it's also on the same line as your reflexes, so that all of that
you're on the same section
exactly, and it's just so clever the way it's laid out. I didn't even get that until I was like 16 characters down and making all the level 0 characters for the adventure. I was like, oh yeah. Every time I was looking, there's this little cheat sheet that you can find online for making characters that makes it really easy.
Oh, nice.
And then it was like, now do your reflex save, and it's like reflexes is linked to agility, and I was like, agility, reflex. I was like, oh yeah, it's on the same line because it's the same one. So I was like, that's so easy. Yeah, it's so good. It's so cool the way it's laid out, and I like the if anyone's familiar with D&D, it's very, very easy to be familiar with this. You roll. You basically will roll skills the exact same way. You roll against a difficulty check that the DM decides, and as James said, there's no skills. It's just done in that way that he mentioned. But combat basically works in a very simple way. There's no battle maps in this. None.
None
It's,
at all.
Yeah, boy.
It's done in that old school way that things like Middle-earth role-playing or AD&D was done, where you had no battle maps. Some people disagree with that because people used to get into arguments about positioning. But the only time I ever hear about that is when it was people that were kids.
Loud at, yeah.
So we haven't had a problem with it.
No, not at all.
I always find Eli Kurtz once said on The Wild Die that he said he tends to be more forgiving if he's DMing and it's theatre of the mind, and I'm the same.
Yeah,
If somebody tells me no, I would have been nearby, I'm usually just like, yeah, fine.
Yeah.
Because like if somebody's if you're all in the room and
Well, it's difficult to keep track of, isn't it? You know, if we got, we had that day we had 5 players at the table, and then it's just
18
speaking,
characters. If
everyone's
you start
speaking at
thinking
once.
about logistics.
Yeah, it's just like, all right, no, it's like no, I went this direction. It's like, oh, okay, yeah. You know, it's just easier to do it
I
that
mean,
way.
if somebody says they're somewhere and they could have been there, I'm keeping track of it, then that's fine, and I think that it works. And additionally, you to hit somebody is quite simple. You roll your melee attack and against their AC. Same goes for ranged, and your bonuses are dependent on strength or agility, same as normal for damage. So it's just nice and simple. With regards to the magic is one of the things I really, really like, because it works in a very, very cool way. So if you're a wizard, you can have a patron. Now, this is one of the things you had when you played a magic user in one of the previous games, Nick.
Oh, the frog god, didn't I?
Yeah, called Bobugbabills.
Yeah.
Now, the patrons are pretty fucking cool. So you've got things like, what are they called? The Three Fates, I think they're called. Or the King of Elfland, or Sezrakan. They're like these really cool things.
Yeah.
So a patron is somebody that can help you with your magic. So they
Can be in the
they can.
the main word in that.
But Bugbabills, for example, he might decide to help you, or he might decide to hinder you in some way. But you don't necessarily have to have a patron, but you can if you get the invoke patron skill. Now, magic is something that is like very, very hard to come by. It's usually something you have to go on a quest to get. You don't just have it. If you become a wizard at level 1 and you've never encountered a spell, well, yeah, you're a wizard. You pick the wizard class, but all that means is you've put on a robe and grown a beard.
I'm a wizard now.
Yeah, you pick the wizard class. It means you can learn spells because you've read a book about how to learn spells.
So you have the capacity to learn. But
Exactly, but you need to go on a quest to learn spells. Now, as luck will have it, in this level 0 dungeon, Nick, you found a horn, which gives you something,
And a tome.
and a tome, which also gives you something. I'm not going to spoil it.
No.
But the cool thing is that, say for instance, you might have to learn a spell by going on a quest or something like this. It's rare. So now these patrons, for example, you can get a patron spell from them, and you can invoke them a number of times per day, depending on how much they like you. Now that's
Oh, you again.
So, for example, your one Bobugbabills, when you had him, you could roll that once a day. Love saying that name. You could roll that once a day, and when you rolled it, didn't he make a swarm of flies appear around the enemy?
Yeah, I think so. Because I didn't roll great, so he was a bit peeved that he had been dragged out, but he still helped me out. But he was a bit like, if you do that again, you're in trouble, because I was in the middle of something.
He was like, you again.
Yeah, what now?
So yeah, things like that, and then the spells, the way they work is that you roll on a table every single time. Now it sounds annoying, but all you need to do is print the sheet off, have it with your character. You roll a d20, and then depending on what number you get, the sheet tells you what happens. So, for example, the fireball, it can be that if you roll an 11, which is usually a success, I believe, might be a 12. So that'll be a success. You do 1d6 damage, normal fireball damage. Let's say you roll 14 or above, that'll be, you can do 2 fireballs and hurl them at 2 separate enemies.
Yeah.
Let's say you roll a 20, that can be, you can set an entire room on fire. Let's say you roll a 25, That could be that you can nuke a town or something like this.
Yeah.
It gets crazy. So the effects, it's not just that you do more damage, it's the effects differ depending on how much you roll.
Yeah.
And it's very, very creative. I mean, whoever wrote those probably had a fucking big job on their hands. But even minor spells like Fireball or Sleep have just numerous effects depending on how well you do. If you roll, on the table, if you roll a 1 or between a 2 and 11 on that spell, that means you lose the spell for that day.
Oh my god.
So that means it's quite risky. So using a spell at any time means that like you can just lose it. But if you roll a 1, you gain a point of corruption. Now what this means is that basically you then roll on this corruption table. So what this is like your character develops horrid. You could have things like character develops horrid pustules on his face, or character develops painful lesions on his chest, legs, and open sores on his hands that do not heal.
Oh my god.
Character's hair is suffused with dark energy. Roll 1d4, and then your hair turns white, turns pitch black, hair falls out completely, or hair sticks straight up. So, basically, the better the wizard, or the longer a wizard's been alive, the more fucked up he's going to look. And look, there's like a diagram here that shows you.
That's amazing.
Oh my God.
Look at the bottom right.
Like the evolution of a wizard.
So ideally, like the sort of longer that you've been alive, the more crit fails that you're going to have with your spells, the more corrupt you're going to be. I mean, between a 2 and 11, you lose the spell for a day. But you get a 1, you can have a misfire, corruption, or patron taint. So your patron could get annoyed at you for fucking up.
Yep.
So Bugbears might be like, you've really done a bad job there. I mean, you really fucked it up.
Summon me for this? Really?
Yeah, you bitch.
Have some boils.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool like that. And like there's these little systems. They sound like a little bit complicated, but they're not. They're simple because when you print off the spell, it tells you what happens. So it'll be like, you roll a 1, corruption, misfire. You roll a 1, deity disapproval, simple. So it's really, really nice and easy. Overall, the book, what do you guys make of it? I mean, Nick, you've had a little look at it.
It's a book come doorstop.
It's a house, mate. It's a building block.
It's
for
amazing.
houses.
I'm just about to order it myself because it's currently on a very good offer.
Yeah, Leisure Games have got it cheap, haven't they?
21 quid, mate. It's incredible, isn't it? I think we've already checked the page count. It's about 480 pages, something like that.
Something like that. It's pretty great.
It's so big, it requires 2 bookmarks.
Yeah, it's got 2 bookmarks.
Oh, it has.
Yeah, boy.
Oh, that's so cool.
The DM screen's pretty cracking as well. It's called Classic RPG Judges Screen.
Yeah, you're called the judge in this game.
I like it.
So
it's amazing.
The book for players in there, I think that you've got a cracking amount of information. It's got.
Is that the player's handbook in there as well? Yeah.
Yeah, it's all in there.
Wicked.
It's all in one book.
Nice.
You've got just a stupid amount of spells.
Yeah.
Just a ridiculous amount of information for each class. Just a shit amount of. Well, no, not shit.
Shit ton.
There's fold out page tables, all sorts.
Oh yeah, that's fucking sweet as shit, man.
Mate,
Yeah. So. I think, it's a beautiful book.
It really is.
It's so well.
I think it's safe to say Goodman Games don't release shit stuff. I mean, all their stuff I've seen's been incredible. We've got the How to Write Adventures That Don't Suck.
Yeah.
Same kind of art, same kind of style. It's so cool.
Not to mention the information for DMs in here is spectacular too. You've got information on magic items. There's specifically, I think this is pretty funny, but also pretty useful as well. A whole section on how to make magic swords, because it's like that whole cliche about how in RPGs and fantasy worlds every single sword has magical properties. So it's just like it's specifically magic swords.
That's pretty cool.
But then you've got information on how to travel, above ground and below ground. How travel is done in general. You've got information on how to do different types of adventures. You've got information on how to create your own dungeons. There's a whole bestiary in there, as well as an adventure that takes you all the way up to level 8.
Incredible value for money there.
Yeah,
it really is.
It's amazing. So the DM section alone is just like incredible. They could have easily split this into 2 books and it would have been
made
worth
more
it.
money, but they didn't.
Yes.
Yeah, because they're not pricks.
Take note, Mr. Jackson.
Say that, Steve. Who do you think you are? You're not a good man.
Hacking your
Man
books up.
Games.
Yeah, exactly.
So Goodman Games actually live up to their name.
They really do.
They are
They're
good men.
They're good, man.
But
And women.
they need to stop being so bloody sexist and hire some good women.
There's some good women too. Yeah.
That's went out of order. So, in conclusion, right? I just want to say one last thing I want to talk about is the additional materials. I've got 2 modules for this.
Yes,
so
you
far,
do.
and I think they're really good. But we've just ordered because we're going to be doing an actual play of this.
Man.
So this is sort of a bit of an announcement because what we're going to be doing is we're going to be changing up the schedule for Tabletop Twats a little bit, and we're going to be doing an ongoing actual play of Dungeon Crawl Classics with these 2 as the players and me as the DM.
Yeah.
So you've asked for it, you're going to get it.
You've sold it out.
There's a lot of people that are just like,
It's none left.
just like, I thought this was an actual play. Well, you're going to get some actual plays.
So there was people asking for more actual plays, or there's a comment we had about it, hoping it was an actual play, and now we're going to give you some serious actual play.
Yeah, some guy said last week about Gen Lab Alpha. I thought this was an actual play.
It doesn't
just
say
a bloody
it in the title.
It didn't say actual play on there, you dickhead. So what made you think that? You fucking I forgot to put that in the feedback section. So so when next week, not next week, but next episode, when you see Dungeon Crawl Classics actual play, right, that'll be a clue, okay? That'll be the clue.
That'll definitely be it.
So we're going to start that, and what we've done is we bought the Dungeon Crawl Classics treasure chest, and we are going to play through that.
Yeah, boy.
And it's going to be sick. There's
So thank you very much, Patreons.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. Because that was down to you. We couldn't have bought that otherwise. And we're going to play through that, and we're going to have hopefully the same 2 characters. Probably not going to happen.
Nope.
But we're going to try our fucking darndest.
So you'll get a real taste for Dungeon Crawl Classic.
Yeah, and it's going to be fucking brilliant. And we're going to hopefully have patrons as characters in the story. So as NPCs. And but the additional material for it is fucking great. It is really, really good value for money because the artwork and the adventures are so spectacularly written and well made that it's just brilliant. On the Intrigue in the Court of Chaos one, you had player handouts.
Yeah.
You had these amazing maps. The adventure itself was spectacular.
You get to use Play-Doh if you like.
Yeah, replayability as well.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah, totally. So I would say. Spectacular game. I love it.
Well, I've never played AD&D or D&D, and I'm kind of glad that my first outing into like proper old school style has been Dungeon Crawl Classic.
Yeah.
DCC is wicked
because I've got no preconceptions. I've just gone straight into it, and I like it. I like it.
Well, James, you've played a fuckload. We've all played a fuckload of Pathfinder, which is basically 3.5, and this I think is a little bit of a breath of fresh air. James, you agree?
Completely. Again, it all just goes to the elegancy of the. There's no skills, right? So it's fucking easy to roll
what they're doing,
for.
Isn't they? Yeah.
It's just like you just need to know what the job is. Done. And it's just so quick and easy. Sometimes I do love Pathfinder, but sometimes the character sheets have got so many skills in that, and it's just like, oh, way down there. Oh yeah, that's that. And it sort of takes the fun out of it sometimes. Whereas this is just constant. There's no sort of downtime.
Yeah, there never was there? No. That's a good point. There was never downtime.
And I feel like you really need to use your brain in some of them. Like, you'll walk in and be like, what is this puzzle? Like, it's intriguing.
Yeah, you get to spend more time on the puzzle than you do than thinking of what your character's going to do.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like whoever designs these adventures as well, this is the only game where I haven't even been tempted to make my own stuff. Yeah. Because I feel like whoever designs these adventures... whenever you get munched in a dungeon, it's your fault. It's not. It's never going to be. It's never because it's unfair and cheap. I feel like their game design is so well made that I never feel like I need to make my own stuff because I don't think I could do as good a job as them.
No need to customise it.
I'm just like, fuck it, you do it.
Exactly. You're clearly good at it. So carry on.
That's to me. That's an incentive to buy it because usually I don't want to buy the pre-mades because I want to save money. And I think that I could do a better job of tailoring fun stuff to you guys.
But
in this case, I feel like it is actually the sort of flavour you guys like.
So for a brand new GM as well, job's done for you. You don't have to start worrying about writing your own stuff, if it's going to be good or not. Rely on the book because the book's got you covered.
Yeah, totally. So everyone, overall, give it the old tabletop twats. This is something we always do. We've always done it since the beginning. So give it the old tabletop twats star rating.
I'll give it yeah.
I'll give it enough.
James gives it yeah.
I'll give it enough.
I'm going to give it 3 years.
I'm going to give it enough.
3.
You give it enough.
Enough.
I'll give it 3 years. Okay, so that's DCC, guys. Go out and buy it.
Buy it now.
But don't buy it before I buy it because it's on a good deal on Leisure Games.
Yeah, quickly get that, Nick, because they probably only got one
get
copy.
it right now.
All right, I'm going for a piss.
Good lad.
Right.
Welcome to the Chamber of Challenges. Chamber of Challenges. The Chamber of Challenges. Chamber of Challenges. The Chamber of Challenges.
Welcome, one and all,
Welcome.
to the Chamber of Challenges. So this week I saw a challenge to do a poetry slam. The one rule of this is that it had to be out about RPGs, and you have to when you deliver your poem, you have to do it 100% seriously, like you're at an open mic night and a bunch of people are watching. All right.
Bosh.
Okay. So Nick,
Without further ado,
pretend you're taking the stage.
has it got the
And-
title?
RPG poem.
Well, you have to get up on the stage and announce it.
Hello, my name's Nick Lamley, and this is RPG poem. Picture this, if you will, a boy walking up a hill. No, not a hill, maybe something that seems a little more real. Perhaps a dark dungeon, or even a light dungeon. The point remains the same. You can do anything you put your mind to, and it never has to be tame. I guess what I'm trying to get at is that anything is real when you RPG. Remember this, because this is the key. So, this key of which I speak can only open a certain keep. And that key, of course, is, you guessed it, your very own brain box, the power of your source. Now, your brain box has unimaginable power. Ironic when this whole poem is about imagination, but the message remains the same. If you can think it, then you can do it. So don't be tame, jump on that train, take no guff from the man. You are who you are. Keep that inside next time you take the ride or go on a bus or go to work. And just remember that you hold the key, the keep and the power. You live in a better world than normal folk because you are an adventurer and you know the world is full of opportunity and dragons and whatever else you may choose to conceive. You, my gamer chum, you see the world with a different style, a different scrum. Maybe, right or wrong, adventure's always call for you. So go on and be whoever you want to be. And know this, you're not just some boy walking up a hill, you are everything and so much more.
Hello, my name is James Clark, and this is my poem. Twisting and turning, the never-ending yearning, it's burning, the rush of the feeling of hang. Decisions and actions determined by fractions, the weight of the weights can be somber or merry, like the taste of a jerry from unknown origin. Ultimate goals, sometimes unforetold, come into existence as if plucked from a tree. Rows upon rows, upon rows, upon rows, striving towards a natural 20.
Good evening, everyone. This is my poem. It's called The RPG Theme Park. As I approached the entrance with signs boasting fun and whimsy, a man attended the gate. I sidled up and greeted him by simply saying, "All right, mate." "How much? It's free," came his reply, cutting me short. "Oh, brilliant," I replied, taken aback but nonetheless giving a happy retort. He motioned with his hand to a roller coaster a short walk away, and I obliged. With a merry skip in my step, I pressed on, wondering what I would find. The coaster was a tangling gargantuan of steel, a wonder to see, with a sign overhead that read Dungeons & Dragons Edition 5e. An attendant stood by, next to a cash register. "That'll be £25. I gasped. What an expenditure. But nonetheless, the ride looked like a real crowd pleaser, so I reached into my purse and swiped my Visa. As the ride began, it was full of twists and turns, a thrilling time. There were fireworks, fake goblins, and water and slime. By the halfway point, the passengers were a total mess. but we didn't care. We were so fully impressed, and then the ride stopped. "Excuse me, sir," I yelled to the attendant. "Is there something wrong with the ride?" "Nah, mate, that was the player's handbook. For the rest, you gotta buy the DM guide." It was at this time I noticed a compartment by my knees, a small print sign which I decided to read. "We hope you've enjoyed 50% of the fun, but 25 more must be paid. Please insert your card below to avoid being delayed." The rest of the ride was fun, of course, but I looped with a frown, because I was one ride in and I was 50 quid down. I got off the ride and passed the attendant scowling at his stupid grinning head. "Perhaps you could try one of the other Wizards of the Coast rides instead." Fuck off! In the distance I saw a weird big house looking thing, a spooky looking ride. With a dejected gait I pressed on, wondering what I would find. "Come one, come all, you'll squeal like a mouse," yelled the attendant at the Call of Cthulhu 6th edition haunted house. "Well, that sounds like fun," I said. "Sign me up," excited and giddy. And he said, "I hope you're ready for those trousers to get all shitty." As I walked in, I was met with many horrors, all fake of course, but the darkness and sounds all made for a powerful force. I was scared shitless, running and screaming. It was such incredible fun, but before I knew it, the experience was done. "My word," I said to the ridesman, "that was utterly fantastic. You could barely even tell the Leng spiders were plastic. I have to go again, take my money and open the doors. I don't even care if I shit my drawers." And with that I went again, running through. It was pretty good, except I kind of knew what to expect, so it was just pretty good. It's still very well made, and I appreciate the beasts and the grime. Maybe I should have waited longer before going on a second time. Around the corner I saw another roller coaster, gigantic and wide. Another fantasy-based ride. Determined to have a good time, I pressed on, wondering what I would find. I walked up to the ride, the biggest yet, called Dungeon Crawl Classics. I looked up in amazement at the sheer size of this Jurassic, monolithic ride that dominated near half the RPG theme park. In a self-assured way, the ride's attendant started up. "Yes, hark! Its beauty is something to truly hold dear. So wonderful in splendour, it's almost something to fear. That'll be 25 quid to ride, please." The moment was broken by the bull's charge of capitalism, but I paid and boarded the front cart. The roller coaster blasted forward through some vines and got off to a fast start. Instantly we were taken to a tropical jungle where a giant ape swung past, the illusion of the animatronics helped by a blast of hot air from its arse. Then the cart shot forward and down into a dungeon of a war wizard. We ducked as we dodged thrown spears from 4 lizards. Then a gigantic boss blocked the way as our carriage had seemingly run out of track, and we all gasped as we began to move back. But it was merely to get a run-up as we pelted forward faster than before, and our cart flew off the tracks and through the boss, smashing him onto the floor. We landed next in an icy tundra where the snow was fresh, and we screamed as a yeti chased us, hungry for our flesh. I won't spoil you with the details and ruin all the rest, but suffice to say, it went on for ages, and it was the fucking best. As I dismounted the DCC, a happy spring in my stride, I glanced around the park and saw plenty of other rides, but I just said, nah, I have nothing else to find. But yeah, well done, guys. So that was our poems.
That's quite fun. Maybe we'll bring that back. It was quite entertaining.
I enjoyed it. I did enjoy doing that.
I enjoyed writing them.
I didn't get as nervous as song fight. I don't know.
Oh yeah, because you didn't have to do a song. You just sit down and write something.
It's cool.
But yeah, so listeners, vote for which one you like somehow. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll do a vote. We'll put a vote up.
And actually,
yeah.
If you did like this section and you'd want to see it come back, if you like, the challenge itself.
Let us know.
And if you'd like to challenge us by sending your own poems,
yeah,
please do
that.
Yeah, send in your own poems.
We'll read them out next time.
But maybe we'll squeeze a prize out.
Exactly, you'll squeeze a prize out.
Here you go, have that.
There's your prize, go fuck yourself. So, right, next up, we've got a little segment.
Game design guides.
See you in a minute.
We got ideas that coming out the wazoo, so we'll talk about them now and give them to you. That's what this segment is. We come up with new games like, I don't know, The Hunger Games. People with the same name in an arena fight to the death. As ideas go, it's not one of my best. The segment's called The Game Design Guys. Best idea gets a game design prize.
Alright, so game design guys.
I bought the book.
Yes! Good one, Nick. Okay, so you've just bought Dungeon Crawl Classics. Alright, so...
announcement.
And it's getting delivered to work. So.
Nick just bought Dungeon Crawl Classics.
Pod Bot.
Good. But that's got fuck all to do with this segment, which is game design, guys. Where we realise, listeners, that we are the best game designers on the planet.
Yeah.
So we're going to come up with some ideas for you now. No, that sounds arrogant, but we are. So
The undiscovered geniuses.
We're basically Gary Gygax times a million. So we're going to come up with some amazing game ideas for you right now. So who wants to go first? Nick?
Yeah, I don't mind going first. So, sticking with the whole revival theme,
Yep.
got me to thinking. And one of the games that I played as a kid that I absolutely loved was Atmospheres. And I remember Atmospheres.
Yeah, man, I remember that.
Okay,
yeah.
so it's almost like, I suppose, looking at it from an RPG perspective, it kind of is like having a games master, if you like, but
Yeah.
a video one. And I thought, well, I like that. I really like that idea. And when I was a kid, that really excited me about, like, actually having a person on the screen telling you what to do.
Yeah, for
depending
those
on
that
what
don't
you
know,
do.
it was a board game where you put a VHS into a VHS machine, and then
Exactly.
the sort of this weird creepy guy would tell you stuff to do on the screen. It would be like, whoever has the oldest age has to do this now.
Anyway,
what's your
so
idea?
the idea is incorporating that kind of element into an RPG. So to bring it into the modern world, I'm assuming that like maybe you could get like a memory stick that comes with the core rules,
Right.
that you could plug into a laptop, and then inside that memory card is a universe of little scenes from NPCs, maybe even a boss or two with like a build up before, and I think it like might add to the game a little bit. So if you walk into a certain situation, you just press track 7. It tells you in the book, go to track 17, and then you press track 17 on the memory card, and then a little video will come up. The guy's in full outfit, reel off a little speech line, and it will just give a kind of extra element to an RPG. Not saying it would make the art game better, but I think it's something different.
It could certainly be immersive. I mean, there are certain things that have tried that before. I remember in Planescape they had these things that were, I can't remember what they were. They were skulls that were sort of like audio guides.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I think it was skulls, and they released it as an audio CD. They've only ever done things like this, and they've only ever been done badly.
Right.
So it would be nice to see somebody do it well.
Yeah.
Let's say if in your universe adventures, each adventure came with the USB stick.
Exactly, that'd be quite funny, and also certain deaths might be quite funny.
Yeah.
So if you die in a certain way in this dungeon, it's preset to show a little kind of video of maybe just a guy in a suit being like, get his head cut off. Yeah, and then all of a sudden he gets split in half, and he's like, you die.
Well, it will allow the tabletop RPGers to have a small taste of LARPing in video format.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know, but yeah, I thought it might be quite fun.
I'm envisioning sort of lost tapes mechanic on a sci-fi setting, or
that'd
something
be
like
cool.
this.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
So that's quite a nice
Almost
idea.
like a prop as well. Like you discover this tape, you bang it on, it's like a video of what happened to the people you're investigating.
That's actually a very good idea. I'm going to go in with one because I've got two, so I'm going to go in with one, and then I'll give you my actual decent one in a bit because this one's shit. I'll go in with the theme of revival as well. Old school revival. Fuck that. Future school revival. Okay, so what you've got to do is predict what people are going to do in the future and do that.
Okay.
Right, James, your idea.
What the fuck? Rewind.
Well, it's a way to sort of, because then you get the ideas people are going to do and do those instead.
Right, got it, mate.
Yep.
Right, cool. Mine's is RLRPG, which stands for Real Life RPG. All right.
So you've invented LARPing.
No, yeah, but
no.
Yeah, but specifically just for sort of mundane tasks. Like the idea in this is
So we have to go to yours. Do your watching up.
no, wait. The best setting for this, right, is either if you play it with your partner, or if you live with a mate, or if you're on holiday
and clean your house.
right? Or if you're on holiday together, right? Then it's like the mundane task. Like you got to put your socks on. So you grab.
I don't know, mate. That's not mundane for me.
You roll from a table, and it determines how. And now, so one of them may be like, all right, so you have to cut the toes off and then put it on back to front, right? And then that's it. You have to wear them for the day, and that's it. Or like, you have to eat breakfast. And what's for breakfast? Toast, but raw toasts of bread.
Raw toast.
Oh, I hate raw toast. It's the worst.
Wait, so everything you do in your life, you have to roll for it. And
No,
then
just sort of like the mundane tasks. So like the beginning of, if someone's like fucking bored, they're like, they hate the mornings, then this will make it a little bit fun.
But
like,
how do you win?
Well, it's literally you
win life.
You win by
being
enjoying
alive.
yourself, right?
yeah, because if you lose every mundane task is going to be unpleasant. So winning is by just having a nice time through your life.
And there's just it's just like
can't argue
you know,
with
it's like have cold porridge, or like you have to
Eat
if you
raw
have
toast.
cereal, right? You have to drink your cereal and eat your coffee. So you have to figure that out, you know.
Well,
Just-
eat your coffee with a spoon like it's soup.
Yeah.
Oh, do like Mr. Bean style.
You know, something funny like that, and obviously you have to play it with someone so they can witness all this happening. You know,
And they'll have to do it too.
actually
So
having
what
fun.
if you're playing with your wife? And
Well,
it
that's what
gets
James
to
is
the
saying.
evening
So
part,
if he's playing
the
say-
bedtime part.
No, it's mundane. Mundane task. All right, okay. Yeah,
if
yeah.
you're playing, you could decide on the levels because there's easy, medium, and hard. So easy is mundane tasks.
Yeah.
Medium is you then do
Work.
it with no. Medium is where you do it with like tasks involving your missus as well. So like that might be the sexy time. That might be also when you're going out and
For a meal.
to the cinema and
Yeah,
to the meal.
yeah.
And then hard is where you have to do it at your job as well.
Yeah.
Like when you
Do
go
it-
for
do
a
it
job
on the
interview,
commute.
you go for a job interview. It's
Yeah,
like you have
so-
to wear a funny hat. You're like,
Tie
oh,
on your head
And then very hard is also like when you're talking to the CEO of your company.
sackable offence kind of hard.
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
you've got a fake moustache.
So
on,
you
you're like,
go to work and you're speaking to your boss, and your boss is like, he's like, hey James, you got that rundown I asked for, and you roll a d20 on the desk, and you're like,
Fuck off.
It's in your ass.
I roll a d20 and then I'm just like, I have to do this. Take my trousers down, start pissing on him.
And yeah, but you're also on a call to your like a call
I'm
to your,
doing it.
to your wife at the time.
I'm doing it.
And your boss is like, what's that? And you're like, fuck off.
It's a
And you're
game.
like, I'm sorry, fuck off.
I have to do this as part of rule rupug.
And he's like, what's rule book?
Mr.
I
Clark on the floor.
can't tell you. I'm on very hard mode.
Yeah.
Available at your local store.
So hit points would be you.
No,
hit points. No, the
It
hit
just
points.
be whether or not you do it or not, and if you don't do it, then you know you just it's just like one of those old the circle games. It's just like
What circle
you'll
jerk?
lose as because you fucking dick.
Hit points is when your life is ruined and you finally put the shotgun in your mouth.
You lose. Boom. Okay, I like it. What's it called? What's this game called?
Real life
It's called
RPG.
Real life RPG.
It's
You're
called
right. Sorry,
Ruralpug.
I did
It's like
ask.
GURPS. You know? Nobody says the real name.
Yeah,
but
it's
people-
real rupug.
Okay, cool.
So my real one, I've called it 2057 Land of Fantasy. Now it's got a sort of a generic name, right? I've called it Land of Fantasy because I tried to give it the most generic multiplayer online fantasy game I could, so I called it Land of Fantasy. Now the idea is that you have a character sheet that resembles a laptop, right?
Okay.
Now it's a LARPing game, so it will be resolved without dice rolls, and I haven't thought of a system because I haven't really LARPed that much, but it'll maybe be like a Rochambeau type thing, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. The idea is that the room that you're playing in is an internet cafe, and you're all participating in an online game. So when you get up, the desk that you're sitting at is a bay of computers, and your character sheet is a laptop, right?
Okay.
So your character has stats, and you're playing a character, and when you stand up, that's you getting up away from the desk. You can leave the room. That means you're going out of the internet cafe, things like this, right? But when you then play an RPG, a tabletop RPG, you flip your character sheet over and you have, like, let's say, Dungeon Crawl Classics type stats, and then that's you playing an online game together.
Okay.
So that means you're going in and then playing an online game together, and you have avatars, and your voice changes, and you're now playing this online game together. Now, story-wise, I'm thinking you might have things such as... it's inspired by Dot Hack a little bit, so you might have things such as... there's people in the game that are dying in real life when they log into the game. So you're basically putting a headset on, logging into this online game, and you're playing this online game.
Like it.
So the LARPing section is when you log out of the online game, and the RPG section is when you're playing the online
Kind
game.
of like it's got a Ready Player One feel to it.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
But you're playing with minis and playing a fantasy game when you're playing the online game, and you're LARPing when you're playing in the internet cafe.
I'd play that.
Yeah, I genuinely think it sounds like a good laugh, and it's
Yeah.
something that I've wanted to run for a while. So I thought
That's cool.
And
Quite interesting how we both did put LARPing in.
yours is less laughing, more life destruction, though.
Just living.
Real life
Less LARPing, more living.
destruction.
Yeah.
So I called it 2057 because that would be the year it's set in, and then Land of Fantasy because it's the name of the game, because I wanted to give it like a really generic name.
Yeah,
I thought that'd
nice.
be
It's
funny.
cool, man.
And I think that it would be there would be some drama going on in the game that's affecting real life, which means you have to log out. And I thought,
Yeah.
as a storyline, it might be something along the lines of
Maybe gaming's been banned and you do it underground.
Well, I was thinking maybe that people are... Because in .hack this is something that happens where people are dying. Something is causing headsets to kill... The headsets that you wear to play the game or the laptops that you use to play the game to kill the players in real life somehow, right? And people are seeing these weird occurrences. And whenever this happens, you might have to quickly log out.
Yeah.
And as a result, you'll just close your laptop, you fold your character sheet up.
Yeah,
And you're just like,
It's like the virus has been initiated, who died? And everyone's like, I got out quick, I logged out.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that'd be really fun. But it's kind of a serious idea. It's not as funny as your guys, so sorry about that.
No, I like it.
But Future School Revival, that's a good one. So yeah, and those are some really good ideas. If you wanna use those guys, we are the best game designers in the world.
So if you'd like to employ us, publishing companies,
Wizards
we're
of the
actually
Coast.
free agents.
Yeah, please contact us if you'd like to use any of those.
We do charge high prices.
Lots of high prices.
For high quality.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we the game design guys.
Yeah.
In the future, you will be able to send a letter from anywhere on the planet. This is the future. This is the Electro Letter.
So this is the Electro Letters, where we take your mail from around the intertubes and we read them out. Now this week, obviously with the revival theme, we asked you guys for what's your sort of old school gaming things that you would like to see brought back.
Yep.
Or the things that you are glad that are dead.
Yeah.
You know. And the first one comes in from Terry Hansen. Nick, you want to read that?
Terry says, taco.
Thaco. Thaco.
Oh, and Terry Hansen says, Thaco. Very glad that's dead. Now you're going to have to explain to me what the hell that is.
So Thaco was sort of like the sort of old way that you would you work out how you would get hit in old school D&D. As far as I recall, it would be you would take away the it stands for to hit armor class 0.
Oh, okay.
So basically, it would be, as far as I recall, you would minus the to hit armor class 0 from the enemy's AC. Then you'd roll the d20 to hit, and then that would be the number that you would have to beat in order to hit the enemy.
Oh wow!
So every time, it was fucking annoying.
God.
It was
it's like confirming the crit. That sounds like as bad as that.
It was worse, man.
Oh god!
I think that's, if I'm recalling correctly, that was how it was done. So it was to hit armor class 0 minus AC equals the roll needed to hit. Yeah, so that's what it was. So every time you wanted to hit somebody, that's what you needed to do.
Oh man,
it's fucking horrible.
It's gonna slow shit down now.
Yeah, so Thaco, mate.
Thaco can fuck off, mate.
Yeah, thack off, mate.
Next one.
Yep.
Mr. Leaner.
Owen Lean. Yes, he says, old school gaming thing I'd like to be brought back. Gary Gygax. Too soon?
Nah, he's been gone too long, mate.
Gary Gygax, he's a legend, mate, and we've got him to thank for all of our wonderful hobbies. Mm-hmm. You know, he's amazing. But thing is, though, you know when somebody invents something, but then people take that and do better with it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
Thank you, Lord Gygax.
Thanks for the blueprint.
But you did invent Thaco, so you know he's in the great Thaco in the sky now, and it's you know.
Thaco about it.
Okay, so the next one comes in from Conrad Erasmus Neubert, and he says, I often really miss the really, really stereotypical fantasy. Tolkien-ish, but more like older D&D version. Elves are good, orcs are bad, dwarves are Scottish, or in German context, dwarves are Bavarian. I don't play/run D&D anymore, and my players are not that much into all those simple stereotypes, but I sometimes miss them very much. Like right now. I really want to shoot a bow playing an elf again. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I sometimes get that urge. I did say in the car the other day, when we started playing DCC, I was like, so good to get back into a bit of fantasy again. You know, because I'm a typical nerd at heart. You know, fantasy's my thing, and when I get back into it, I do feel like it's a warm bath.
It is good fun. Yeah.
I do love it.
The magic. I like the magic.
It is. What do you think, James? Are you the same? Do you miss fantasy when you're not playing it, or do you just not care?
No, well, I said earlier, like, you know, I think it's actually been a little while since we have played your stereotypical fantasy stuff. Like, all the fantasies we've done hasn't been your your stereotypical
No,
character.
we've been out in the
that
world playing new games.
We've been doing like, our characters have all been really fucked up in our fantasy world. So it may be nice. I'm not sure for a long campaign. When we did Pathfinder pre all of this. It was me, you, and Sean. We were stereotypical in that. Yeah, that was awesome. Though.
Yeah, that was typical. I mean, we had like clerics and dwarves and all of this stuff,
and they were perfectly.
It was
that was
portrayed.
It was just us three, and it was that was a very typical campaign. But then the one we did recently, I kind of. Because we had one character playing gunslinger, I wanted to have a bit more justification for the but the existence of guns. And so I had a sort of whole community based around the worship of old machinery and guns. Things like this. I'm not even sure if that's how Pathfinder does it in the lore, but that's how I did it.
Yeah.
And I thought it was fun. But the thing is, like, that's not your typical fantasy. And we had stuff, from eons past, all this old technology that was like guns and stuff like this, and so it was kind of very different, wasn't it? And so I think that we haven't done stereotypical fantasy, and with this DCC that we've been playing, that's proper, it's proper stereotype, isn't it? But it is quite fun just to play that once in a while.
It is pretty fun.
But he follows up. Question: how old are the three of you? Either each one of you or all three of you added up. I mean, it's going to get personal if you keep asking us for questions again and again and again. I don't think that's that personal, but I am 29.
I am 28.
And I'm 17.
Yeah, Nick's just a little boy.
I'm a wee laddie.
No, how old are you, Nick? I don't even know.
I'm 33, mate.
33, shit.
I was born in
God.
1984, yeah.
I was close. You're an old guy.
Old man.
Hey, Nick, fuck off.
Yeah, all right.
Old man Nick.
Old man Nick. Yeah, so respect your elders.
But it's amazing that we've been playing RPGs for so long. We're only little babbies, really.
Yeah.
Because we've been playing since we were teens.
Yeah.
But it's funny how
embryos.
I feel like I'm quite experienced in RPGs because of how long we've been playing. But then like I speak to somebody old guard and they're like, I remember AD&D. You probably don't remember this, Harrison. And I'm like, fuck you, man! I've been playing for ages.
I was flipping dice in my damn crib.
Because I met my good buddy Philip Conway when I worked at Evans Cycles and started played a bit of AD&D with him and stuff like this. So I've had quite a good.
But you went to his house, didn't you?
Yeah, had quite a good wealth of experience with RPGs. Thankfully, I'm lucky in that regard because in the UK, pretty much it only really sort of like kicked off when 4th edition came out, which is I guess a lot of people see that as unlucky, but I just think it's good that we all managed to be able to play it.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm lucky because we've just had a solid group for a long time. I mean, 2.5 years down the line,
man.
and we still play every week, and it's good.
Yeah, it's good, depending on your outlook. So, James, you want to read the next one?
Next one comes from Tony Fanning as Amadeus. Old-time gamers from the Midwest. Here in the States will remember this one. I want the old venue for Gen Con brought back. Milwaukee is such a beautiful city.
Yeah, mate, that's my home. That's my home away from home. Milwaukee.
They make good drills.
And one of the best cities for conventions. When Gen Con was there, it was pure nerd heaven. Nowadays, in Indianapolis, it's so commercially focused and the crowds are ridiculously huge that I just can't get that gaming con feel there anymore.
Oh, dear.
Oh. You know what, though? I do agree with that because we went to Comic-Con.
Yeah.
And it was my con of choice usually is London Anime Con.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to say when I was at that versus AnimeCon, which is much smaller, when you get the big crowds, it doesn't feel like a convention. It just feels like a big shopping mall. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And then he continues. Conversely, one of the things I'm glad is dead and gone is the fact that Gen Con used to be the only gaming convention in the Midwest. Not anymore. We have many different conventions all year round of all shapes and sizes within driving distance, and I can pick and choose which ones to attend each year with relative ease. Hell, there's even a tiny little convention in my hometown every year. Every winter at the local university that I can attend. Yay!
All right, Tony, let's show off, mate.
Yeah, mate.
Yeah,
You've got
you-
loads of cons going.
I've got
you
about
think
1.5.
Yeah, you think it's so hard with all your conventions.
Look at you with all your conventions.
Yeah, we've got like 1.5 conventions. We had to travel all the way up to fucking Leeds or wherever it
Badlands
was.
or wherever it was.
Yeah,
They're not
Sheffield.
easy to get to, really.
But luckily, the one that we are going to in December, Dragon Meat, which looks pretty damn cool, is in London. So
Hell yeah.
really happy about that one.
But the dizzle is that we don't know what any of that means because it's all in America. But
We don't get much of that over here.
Cheers, mate.
I would actually like to attend Gen Con just to see what it's like, but the thing is, I'm not going to spend all that money to get there.
So if anyone out there would like to make that happen,
And a
please
lot of
get in
people,
touch.
yeah,
Make a wish donation.
any generous listeners,
Goodman Games.
yeah, we emailed Goodman Games to try and get them to give us a prize to give away on this episode, but their email was so like bafflingly stupid. I don't think that they
Understood what it was.
I was trying to be funny to sort of keep it light, but I don't think I said.
You're a good man.
I did make. I said I like that you've named your company after the fact that you've got good men working for it, or some shit like that. But yeah,
And then John
I don't
Goodman
know.
was like, "Shut up."
I have seen like Gen Con, a lot of people complaining that it's become too commercial, and I do agree with that because a lot of these conventions are out to make money. And the thing about that I like about London Anime Con is that it's like a niche thing, and that's what I liked about it. And the same thing goes for ShakeCon, the Savage Worlds convention that I went to.
That sounded like really personal,
Intimate
homey.
thing, yeah. And that's what I liked about it, is that
Just some friends playing in a pub.
yeah, and it's inevitably going to be a lot smaller and a lot nicer because you get to know everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
And at a big one, it's just a bunch of people. They're in their little cliques, and they're going to stay in those little cliques.
Yeah.
I mean, at AnimeCon, we do a lot of gaming, and we'll just sit down, meet a bunch of people, and then we'll shake their hand.
A bit more intimate, isn't it?
Goodbye.
Because there's a bit less people.
Friend
there.
making.
Yeah. So
nice.
JC Locke comes in with Old School Traveller. Would love to see that back in the spotlight. So he's talking about the gypsy community there. The Travellers.
An old one.
Yeah, just his Old School Traveller. No.
When I was travelling.
I've never played Traveller. I'm sure it's good.
I've got New School Traveller. I'm sure we'll play it at some point.
Yeah. And then he follows up, number 2, D20 Star Wars. Thank God that's gone.
I've heard a lot about that being terrible.
Well, a lot of people say that all of the D20 games that came out during the D20 boom are shite, like the D20 Cthulhu. Like, why the fuck would that ever come out? Imagine that being like an attrition game.
Oh.
Yeah, like
You hit Cthulhu.
Cthulhu.
Laughs. Cthulhu. That's his Hawaiian brother.
And we got one last email.
Carlin of the Hill People Kendrick comes in with, thing I'd like to see brought back, instant death effects. Sure, there are a few games, but back in the day, the wrong saving throw would mean making a new character.
Wait a minute, stop there, because I've got this brand new fucking game, right?
Right.
It's beautiful, right?
So what's that?
For all the Pathfinder nerds out there, we got Winter Eternal for Pathfinder.
Oh,
if you like instant death effects, well, there's some in here. So this game is for Pathfinder, right? This it's not a game, right? Because Pathfinder is the game. This is a addition to Pathfinder. Some very handsome man helped with the conversion for this, and basically, this is a winter setting for Pathfinder where the sun gone and bloody blown up. We talked about this before, but in this, if you're not wearing an ice suit when you're out in the wastes and a super blizzard happens,
That's you.
done.
You are done.
You got fucked. It's like DC 15 fortitude save every 30 seconds or death.
You ice cube. You ice cube, buddy.
I think that's what it is.
That's
I might be misremembering.
Yeah.
But this book also, shameless plug, it looks fucking amazing.
It does.
Thanks to Mornay. He did a new cover for it, which is fucking incredible. And all the people at Just Insert Imagination, all the great people did a fucking incredible job with this book.
And the character sheet's pretty sexy too, isn't it?
There's some handsome Asian bloke worked on that.
And don't forget Fatty Field.
Yeah. Do you know what? That was one of my proudest moments because we all like to wind our mate Ryan up and say that he's fat, even though he's not fat at all. And Mornay asked for. We all play tested this, and Mornay, who very kindly published his book and stuff like this, he asked for all the play testers and their names, and I put Harrison Hunt, Sean Hunt, James Clark, Nick Lamley, and Ryan Fatty Field. And it's now published in the
forever.
Yeah, it's in print, immortalised.
Yeah, Ryan saw that and he literally just said to me, Don't worry, mate, I'll get you back.
The sinister, nice, calm
Imagine
voice.
if Ryan walks in with some book and it's just got Harrison Wanker written in it, and that's it. It's just like a textbook, and he's written it in himself.
Harrison the cunt.
Yeah, it's so funny, man. But yeah, that if you like instant death effects, it's got a couple in there, and it's also a very, very good supplement for Pathfinder. I'm not saying that just because I did the
We're not
conversion.
biased, no, go check it out. We play tested it and we had a blast.
It's a
It was
wicked,
awesome.
wicked thing to play. Yeah.
It is really fun. I didn't write it, Mornay wrote it, and that's why it's good.
Carlin goes on to say, glad is dead. The need to have a stat for everything, reflex, will, etc. I love that games are using more overlapping stats to take care of rolls instead of having yet another stat that needs character points to be dropped into just to keep up with the difficulty curve.
Yeah, there you go. And then it goes on to the whole DCC thing. There's no skills in there, and it's simple as shit, man. Yeah, I completely agree. That is wicked. It's so much, just fluidity and everything is fucking awesome.
Yeah,
but
mate.
for the people who love numbers and all that, you know, they love all the stats. They love all the fact that it's every single, you know, an equation to
Yeah,
I'd just
do
like to
anything.
say to them, grow up.
I think it's down to personal taste, though,
Yeah.
because fucking my mate Philip loves AD&D because it's got all the numbers. He can't
That's what I
stand
mean.
it when there's not a number for something.
I hate it.
Because
But
it's just like, yeah, but it doesn't make sense because it hasn't got a number. There needs to be a skill and an attribute.
I need a formula.
Well, because I remember we were talking about it down the pub once, and because like in modern games, your attractiveness and your personality is rolled into charisma, right?
Yeah.
He hates that because he thinks they're definitely two separate things. He's like, how can your comeliness be the same as your charisma? It's not the same thing. I really hope he doesn't listen to this. But he was really drunk when he said this.
Comeliness.
And I've got to be honest, you guys have met Philip. He did actually say it like that.
Yeah.
He was genuinely furious.
Yeah.
And he was like, they're not the same thing.
That's wicked.
And he was actually furious. And so in AD&D, yeah, you did have a comeliness stat. Yeah, it was fucking funny. But so some people like it, some people don't.
Yeah, man.
I personally,
Horses for courses.
sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. It depends on what I'm in the mood for. If I'm
Yeah,
being
man.
honest.
But recently, we love having the fluidity.
And that flow.
Just flies, absolutely flies.
Game
It's
flow is one of the
awesome.
most important things to me.
Yeah,
and
me
I
too,
think,
mate.
yeah.
Last one? Anyone
last
wanna grab
one?
the last one?
I'll take it. It's Mr. Clean himself. It's Owen Lean.
Owen Lean, the lean, green,
He says,
lean,
"Who-
lemon machine."
Shut up! You fucking
Don't scat, man.
I'm not gonna shut up. I'm not gonna shut up. I'm not gonna shut up.
Okay,
Okay, I'll shut up.
Thank you. The last one comes in from Owen Lean. He says, who would win in a battle between a penguin armed with a broadsword and a mouse riding a squirrel armed with a poisonous cricket bat?
Poisonous cricket bat.
Okay, what an amusing question. And that's all
very
we've got
much.
time for today, everyone. So, I would say just keep your questions coming in. No, let's actually answer that. So,
Squirrel.
Well, clearly the squirrel's
Mouse,
English because it's got a
squirrel.
cricket bat, so that would win.
yeah, no, the penguin armed with a broadsword, mouse riding a squirrel armed with a poisonous cricket bat.
Yeah.
Let's go nerdy on this one, right? Because a broadsword, how much damage does that do? D10. But cricket bat, if we're going with club damage, that's going to be 1d6 if it's
Yeah, but then
Well,
it's got poison effect.
poisonous damage, which
Yeah.
could do
Is
how
that
much?
D4?
Well, no, it depends on the
Depends
type.
on the
It depends on
system.
the type of poison. So I'm going to go, let's say 1d3 con damage over time. Jesus, I mean, he gets
Yeah.
one hitting and then backs off.
He can ride in. He
not
can
only that,
literally
but
ride
he's
in on
got
his
the-
squirrel,
the extra
wallop,
agility
and
of
then
the
ride
squirrel.
out.
Yeah, but then it depends on how intelligent the mouse is.
Yeah, but if we're going to
No.
brass tacks, if we're not going by animal stereotypes, and just say
No,
that
we have to go with animal stereotypes
Oh, okay.
because the fact that
Well, in that case, the penguin can't
a
hold
mouse
the
is
broadsword.
agile, mate. The
The mouse can't ride the squirrel.
Yeah, but how much training has the penguin put into its broadsword?
No, well, that's just it. I mean, this is an unanswerable question.
We need more facts.
We need background.
We need
of the
char
penguin,
sheets.
the mouse, and the squirrel.
Yeah.
How long have the mouse and the squirrel known each other? Are they companions?
I've got a good idea.
Are they lovers?
Exactly.
Are they
Is he
friends?
riding him against his will? What?
Yeah.
If the lean guy can stat them, send them in, we'll bat them out.
Yeah,
Oh,
we'll do
do
that.
that.
For a bonus.
Do that,
one.
please
Yeah,
do
yeah,
that.
yeah. All right. So
You heard
thanks, Owen, for the question, but there's not enough.
Watch this space.
Fucking hell! Owen!
And that brings us to the end of another show. So,
I hope you've enjoyed yourself.
Yeah,
please come again next time.
So please, thank you very much for the questions. Please send them in. We absolutely love the questions. And
we want your poems.
We want your poems. And I want to do another call to action. Back in the day, we used to do these Warhammer tales that we really liked when we read out people's stories. Owen, I believe, he said he's going to send something in. But we want people to send in their RPG stories and tales, long ones, because we want them for bonus content.
We've got 2 to do, actually.
Yes, we've got 2 to do, but it's not like we're desperate for bonus content, but we really, really like the story ones because
it's nice to hear other people's games, isn't it?
Exactly.
It's amazing, yeah.
We really like those, and we actually think they're really fucking entertaining to listen to, and we don't want to do our own ones because that would just be fucking really sycophantic. So please, God, send in your stories because we would like to hear them. And with that, let's fucking end this show.
But how can they send them in if they don't know where to send them?
So if you want to get in contact with the show, you can email us at tabletoptwats@gmail.com.
Yes.
Or you can go over to the Facebook, which is
facebook.com/tabletopT.
Why not try out Twitter, which is @TabletopTwats?
That's this new upcoming website, and that is all the ways to contact us. But
you can also check us out on Nerds International and on G Plus in general. Just search for Tabletop Twats or Nerds International.
Speaking of Nerds International,
yeah,
I think everyone should go and listen to the RPG Brewery, not the Call of Cthulhu episode, but that is good. That is really good. But I really, really, really think that we're all in agreement.
I know what episode you're about to say.
Oh yeah,
what the Gary one?
Go and listen to the Gary one. Right? I mean, it did have Stefan Dragonspawn on it, but listen to the Gary one, bro, because that is good for 2 reasons. Nick, you told me a reason the other day. What is it?
Well, I don't know if you remember, but a long time ago we did an episode about Nightmare, and we took the piss out of the kid because he said chasm instead of chasm, and Gary actually says chasm on it. The second I heard him say it, I was like, ding!
You're fucking leaping over a chasm.
You're standing on the edge of a chasm.
Shooting a golem across this chasm.
Chasm.
Giant chasm.
Gary!
Yeah.
Jamie is talking about all different systems, and Gary's talking about Savage Worlds, and Jamie constantly brings up loads of systems, and then Gary keeps on bringing it back to D&D. It's fucking brilliant. I would highly recommend giving that a listen. It is it's brilliant because it's all the systems versus Savage Worlds, and Gary is just an utter powerhouse when it comes to talking about Savage Worlds.
It's brilliant. It's actually so funny. I love the fact that I only listened to sort of like the first 20 minutes so far, but I love how intense Gary is, man.
He goes in hard.
Yeah,
and Jamie
you
said
proper fight in the ground there.
Yeah, man.
Jamie said that day he was having a he was a bit tired and he was having a rough day.
Oh no!
So
and he got the Big Mac.
Yeah, this is the one where I'll put a link in the description for this because this is the one where I literally I've been listening to this show for a long time, but I recommended this.
This will go down in history.
Yeah, and if you want to support the show, then please go over to patreon.com/tabletoptwats. And chuck us a buck if you want.
Because we turn them bucks into books and then we play them books. And that's why DCC AP's coming.
The sex book episode that we did, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles episode that we did, those were Patreon episodes. We've got a couple more in the pipeline which are coming up very soon. The Dungeon Call Classics AP, those were all thanks to the Patreon guys. So, your donations are being turned into content constantly and we are going to keep that up. So thank you very much. But that leaves us with one final thing. Because we obviously like to give you a thought for the week because, God knows when you're not listening to the
what
show.
else you got to do?
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
you're obviously just waiting for the next TTT episode and you're just like, what am I going to do?
Exactly.
Just playing, what's your game? Life RPG.
Real life RPG, you're just there, you're rolling your dice, you have to put your socks on and wear them as gloves for the day. Great.
Yeah.
But what else are you going to do? So I'm going to give you a bit of a thought for the week, a bit of mind food to keep you going until the next episode comes out, and that is, where are these books where the oldest tricks are written? And with that leaves one last thing to be said. One last thing that connects us. And basically, I was just thinking the other day, and then suddenly a thought popped into my head, and this thought actually didn't come from me, it came from someone else, and I realised that actually... we're all connected. We are actually all one being, and that we should actually just rekindle that, and actually just remember that we are all just one person, and that if we actually all focus out all of our energies, we can solve world hunger, we can stop all wars, and we can just play RPGs and be happy. And that thought was the following phrase, which is the following phrase:
Chicken McBosh.
Okay, look, please do not put me in that cell. Okay, look, stop it. Stop putting me in this cell. Okay, look, don't you close that door. Don't you close the door. Okay, stop it. Stop walking away. Stop it. Come back here. God, look, okay, I get it. I should have taken the time to learn your name. I get it. Okay, stop walking away, please. I'm sorry. Fucking hell.
Look, there's no point in shouting, mate.
What the hell are you?
Okay, that's really rude, isn't it? I mean, you see a jelly cube and you start shouting. Oh, I get it. The jam flavored guy is automatically gonna steal your wallet. I get it.
No, it's nothing like that. You made me jump. That's all. You started me.
Don't worry, it happens all the time. Anyway, listen. I've been here for 2 months, and all I did was steal an apple from the market. I was hungry. What did you do?
Conspiracy to commit terrorism.
Well, you're gonna be here for fucking ages.
Well, thanks for making me feel better, dickhead. Oh man, I'm so fucked.